This episode of Spectre Sound Studios is brought to you by DistroVid.
My Les Paul is a work of art.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It is a work of art. It's an exquisite work of art. And the art is convincing the hapless consumer to spend way more money on a guitar than they actually fucking should! Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another fun and exciting episode of SMG Viewers Comments. Now, I've been on a trip to Europe for like the last 5 weeks and I went everywhere. And so what I did was I shot a bunch of videos before I left. And so that gave me the opportunity to travel to all kinds of different countries and stuff. I got to go to Germany and the Netherlands and England and Czech Republic and Austria, all kinds of stuff. Did a bunch of content I think you guys are really going to like. Got to interview some really amazing people. Got to see some cool stuff being built. There's a bunch of great content going to be coming up this fall. And I think I'm going to be doing 30 videos in 30 days once again in November, and a lot of that summer content's going to wind up there. I think you guys are going to like what's coming up. Just want to give a shout out to this episode's sponsor, and that being DistroVid. They've got a new thing coming up, and that's going to be later on the video. Anyway, let's get to your comments and questions right now.
Dude, I'm a longtime fan, and that aggravating intro just makes me want to unsub every time. Please stop.
What's the matter? You didn't like the all right, everybody's? Okay, here's the honest truth. I was trying something new and I was on a bit of a roll. And like I said, I did 5 weeks of content before I actually left Canada. And I was kind of on a roll with that all right, everybody's. It might have gone just a little bit too far with that. So message was received probably about a month ago. And when I started doing it, I noticed my subs kind of flatlined as well. So yeah, message received. And unfortunately, it was a little too late to do anything about it because all those videos were already in the can. So, yeah, might have fucked up there just a little bit. So no more super long, annoying intros. Sorry about that. Please stick around. I guarantee the upcoming content, you're really going to like what's coming up on the show. Thanks for the heads up, though. I do appreciate it.
Giving one of your haters credit for continuing to upload videos despite a low sub count was one of the most beautiful displays of emotional intelligence I've ever seen, and honestly wish I had that sort of validation for my efforts when I was growing up. Was there any particular experience you went through that opened up your mind to taking such a pragmatic approach to these situations, or did you go to therapy, study mental health, or something? That was genuinely awesome.
Thanks, dude. I really do appreciate that. No, it's just a little bit of empathy, I think, more than anything. You're referencing last week's viewers' comments where, yeah, one of my haters really tore into me. And so what I did was I checked out his channel. I saw he had a lot of videos. He'd obviously been working very hard. He wasn't getting much traction with that. So I can maybe see a little bit of jealousy fueling that rage. I mean, like, you know, I've had far more success on YouTube than I've ever deserved to. And I thank you guys dearly for that. I'm ever so fucking grateful that I'm able to do this kind of shit, and I appreciate you guys coming back week after week after week. But as somebody who's struggling to get some kind of traction, believe me, I know exactly what it feels like to be there, because I went through that sort of thing in, you know, the mid to late 2000s with the studio. You know, I was kind of stuck working with local bands. No bigger projects were coming in, so I can understand that frustration. It seems to be no matter how hard you work, you're not getting anywhere. So I can definitely understand that. And in, you know, 2012, 2011, something like that, I started doing some music videos, and, you know, again, the struggle was real. It really wasn't getting too much attention. It wasn't until I started making tutorials about how to avoid common mistakes in the studio that things started getting noticed, and started getting a lot of feedback about that. And it took a long time to figure out what would make this show work. And once I did figure that out, I was able to crank out content you guys want to see week after week after week. We're like 8 years into this, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. So thank you so much for that, guys. So just to circle back on that, a little bit of empathy goes a long way, because I know how hard it is to struggle like that. I'll be completely honest here. In high school, I was bullied on a daily basis about, you know, my taste in music, my guitar playing skills, you fucking name it. Everybody put me down about everything they possibly could think of on a daily basis, and that really fucking sucked. So maybe that's my motivation there, is to try and help people who might be struggling just a little bit, because I know what it's like to be there. That being said, I started writing a video a couple of years ago, and I've kind of had it on the back burner for a long time. It's called How I Survived Bullying. because I was a daily victim of it in high school, and I could probably do a pretty interesting video if that's something you guys would like to see. Because yeah, for those of you who might be dealing with that in a high school situation, because let's face it, most high school kids are unempathetical little bastards, and it's a lot to go through on a daily basis. If that's something you guys would like to see, and maybe, you know, explain to you guys that there is light at the end of the tunnel, let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to hear from you on that.
I must disagree with you and these comments. In honor of you and your no bullshit, tell it straight ideas, I think it sounds horrible. Perhaps the worst tone I've ever heard you play. Normally don't leave negative comments, I'm just confused by all the comments. No, I don't have the best tone either, just giving my honest opinion.
You are referencing the 1111 amp sim. That thing is absolutely fucking wicked. This has been put out by Auto Audio just recently, and you know, it's going for half price right now for like somewhere around $50 or $55. It is absolutely killer, but it's designed for extreme metal. Not everything in metal is supposed to sound perfectly, you know, modern metal tone all the time. I mean, like, you look at Kola's Grindstein pedal. I mean, this thing's designed to sound nasty and gnarly as fuck. And the Auto's kind of the same thing, except it's only $55. And it sounds great. Maybe not on its own so much, but in the context of a mix, that's where it truly works great.
The sound I get out of this is way better than this crap sound, man. This is terrible. And if you pay a bit more attention to the tube switch, you will notice a pretty big difference between the EL34 low mids and the KT88 sounds much brighter as the 6L6.
Yeah, I gotta call bullshit on that one, Ari. It's funny how your tone sounded so much better than mine, but you didn't provide a link for anybody to check it out! I mean, like, I'm just going off what the presets were. Maybe you were listening in mono. That probably has something to do with it, because if you run the Auto Audio 1111 in full stereo and it collapses down to mono, yes, it will sound like shit. So I don't know. Check your signal chain before spewing off. And then, yes, if you're going to reference your awesome tone, please provide a link so we can check it out, so you can back up your words with actual actions. Just a thought.
So anyone familiar with this channel, if it can make Glenn sound this good, you've got a great plugin, guys.
Yeah, thanks for the compliment, John.
First thing he played sounded absolutely horrible tone-wise, but on the full mix, it sounded super good.
Ding, 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 ding! We've got a winner! There, that's the whole fucking point! I've said this for, I don't know how many fucking times, is I'm always setting tones up to work in the context of a mix. The name of the channel is Spectre Sound Studios! So what are we aiming for ultimately? How shit will sound on a fucking record! Oh, good idea. Yeah, no fucking shit. The whole idea is, how is it going to sound in a mix? And that's probably the video I need to make, is how to set your guitar tone up to play by yourself versus how you need to set that tone up to work in the context of a mix, because they're two very different things. If that is a video you would like to see, please leave a comment below, because I will make it if you think that will be of some kind of value to you guys. Sometimes it seems like I've got to do the obvious stuff, because sometimes the obvious isn't all that apparent to many of you.
I can see it would work very well for an old school metal tone, but as somebody who prefer the more sterile modern metal tone, I'm not that impressed. But I have to try it before dissing it. Is there a free trial by chance?
Wow, got a lot of comments on the 1111, that's for sure. I love that. Sterile modern metal tone. Dude, I think you used the best adjective ever when it comes to the old 5150 vintage 30 thing. If you're after that tone, believe me, there's a million amp sims out there that will do that thing. If you're looking for modern metal tone that really nails it, I'd say check out the Bogren amp knob, because you just got to turn it and it sounds good, and it's going to work great in the context of a mix. And it's only $50 as well. Now, the 1111 is definitely a lot more nastier sounding, and it's for the much more extreme metal stuff, not, you know, the nice, safe, sterilized, everything fucking time-aligned bullshit you modern metal guys like so much. And yes, there is a 2-week free trial, so yes, if you think you can get a way better tone than I can, by all means, go download it and show me how much more awesome you are. Hey guys, real quick, this episode of Spectre Sound Studios has been brought to you by DistroKid's brand new service, DistroVid. It works just like DistroKid does, but if the bass players aren't quite understanding the subtle metaphor of the title, this one's made with video in mind. Now, DistroVid will get your music videos out onto services such as Apple Music, Amazon, Tidal, and Vivo, and lets you upload as many videos as you want for only $99 a year, and you keep 100% of your earnings. Now, what's more, DistroVid doesn't accept half-assed crap like lyric videos or still images of slideshows put to music. They want real, actual music videos. Hooray! Maybe you guys should try that. Now, the interface makes it super easy to get rolling and takes the stress and tedium out of uploading to multiple platforms at once. Now, what's really cool is that DistroVid members get included in Vivo, which means you get the official Vivo watermark on YouTube. Vivo also lets people watch your music videos on different platforms, including Roku, Samsung, and LG smart TVs, Comcast, and more. And DistroVid even allows for custom release dates. If you've got an awesome music video you want the world to see, go check out DistroVid today. The link is in the video description. Now it's time for the Butthurt of the Week.
Terrible review. The Cat 100 for me smokes any of the other amps in its price range, except for the 60, which he is using. The 100 and the 200 are killer. Yes, the IRs aren't great, but the rest of the amp is killer. I've owned all kinds of real tube amps. Vintage Twins, Marshalls, 4x12s with high gain heads. It comes pretty close. No latency issues with me, but I've seen much better reviews elsewhere of this amp.
Oh yes, the pissed off Line 6 owners, they never get sold. You've seen much better reviews of this amp. That's fantastic. Did any of them actually buy the amp themselves and do a completely self-funded review? That's the question you need to be asking, because I went out and bought that motherfucker so I could give you guys the honest truth. Do you not see the fucking difference there? Is that not getting through to you? I'm trying to save you guys some money, and so you don't make stupid fucking purchases. Now, this is something I had a discussion with on my European trip. We're like, okay, what's the best option for an amazing sounding amp for not very much money? And what kept coming up over and over and over again was the 6505 combo. Apparently, a lot of them are going for dirt fucking cheap these days. And they are the exact same amp as the original PV5150. They just have a slightly different name on the label because Eddie Van Halen changed who he is doing his endorsements with. But it's the same fucking amp. The cool thing about the combos is all you got to do is go buy some decent speakers for them. Put in some vintage 30s or some Neo Creambacks or some Greenbacks, something like that, and you are going to get an amazing sound. Yes, I am going to do a video on this because I think it needs to be shown to you guys because it's so fucking important to show that, yes, you can get an incredible sounding amp, not trying to simulate a good amp, but an actual good fucking amp for not a shit ton of money.
Hey Glenn, if you possibly can, will you check out Firefly guitars? I believe they're a serious contender for the best guitar under $500. My uncle just got one and one of his friends got 3. All of them kick serious ass and I feel like people need to know about this. These guitars would be great tour guitars. They can get beat up and no one will care, and your really nice guitars can stay safe at home.
Yeah, you know what? This is not the first request I've got to check out Firefly, and you know what? I am in. As soon as I figure out how to order one to Canada, sometimes that can be a bit of an art form, I'll try and get one on the show, because yeah, I've had numerous requests for this, and yeah, I do think it deserves a fearless gear review. I want to take a look at more sub $500 guitars and try and find the best value I can for you guys. So if you have more suggestions for guitars I should be checking out, again, leave a comment below and I will try and look for some awesome options out there, because CNC manufacturing isn't unique to any particular company anymore. Once you've got the fabrication figured out, it's just a matter of printing them out, basically.
Honestly, it's not just today's metal guitarists that are sensitive, but a lot of people that listen to harder genres in general, I think. Finn McKenty, who caters to the punk rock and metal crowds, actually had to dial back his personality because people were saying he was too abrasive or something fucking stupid like that in the comments. Now his channel has gotten a little less entertaining, all because a vocal group of whiners apparently started subbing and influencing him to change what was working for the channel, and it's a shame that he listened to them.
Oh, wow, dude. You know, Finn's a buddy of mine. I'll admit I haven't watched his show in a little while because I found he was a bad influence on me. No, seriously, Finn's a great guy. And I don't know if he dialed his stuff back or not. That remains to be seen. I would definitely recommend checking out the Punk Rock MBA. He's got a lot of cool bio stuff and some great opinion pieces and whatnot. I think YouTube shows, especially like his, should be hard hitting. And I don't think opinions should be held back or punches pulled. I think the truth is what sets us free and helps us learn things. So I'll have to check that out and see if there's any truth to that or not. But I remember in summer 2020, whatnot, I was watching a lot of Finn stuff, and boy, was it fucking great.
Glenn is a better guitar player than me.
Wow, I've been doing this show since 2012. I did some of my first episodes then, and that is the first time anybody has ever said anything like that. Thank you so very much. But it's not a quest to be better than the next guy. It's a quest to learn more. Now, my sole motivation here is greed. Greed for my own time. I don't want to have to work around other people's schedules. If I'm reviewing a guitar like this awesome fucking Solar here, I just want to be able to pull it up and plug it in and go and not have to wait to bring in guest guitar players or anything like that. Guest guitar players are fun, don't get me wrong, but the faster I can crank stuff out means that's more time I can spend at home with my family and paying attention to them. So there is that. But thank you so much for the playing compliment. Believe me, I learned an awful lot when I was at Gear Street, and we're going to have some cool stuff coming up this fall as well in regards to that and becoming a better player.
Not gonna lie, I saw your show a year or so back and kept it in the back of my head, but I actually started to view more of your content after seeing you shred.
Again, things I never expected to see in the viewers' comments, but I am absolutely grateful for that. Well, thanks for sticking around and whatnot. Like I said, we got a lot of amazing stuff coming up this fall. Can't wait to show you what's going to be coming up. And yes, I'll be playing a lot more guitar on the show. And I thank you guys for your kind words and encouragement. It really does mean the world to me. Thanks ever so much.
Glenn absolutely shreds, then absolutely struggles how difficult ascending finger exercise is. Love that you shared that struggle, dude. It's easy to think we all suck watching YouTube guitarists forgetting that they leave all the mess ups out of their vids.
That is a great point. Yeah, I wanted to show what I'm working with that ascending run thing. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, please check out my video, How I Got Better on Guitar. It kind of explains, 3 or 4 different major things I've learned over the last few years that have made huge improvements in my playing. But yeah, I'm struggling with this ascending run, and it's kind of painful to do. And I ran into Perfecto de Castro at Gear Street, and he showed me a way around that to make it work a little bit better. But it's like I need to get some muscle memory for it now. And with some time and some effort, I'm sure I'll master it, but it's just going to take some time. But you totally nailed it right on the head there, man, with the bit about how everybody edits out the mess ups. And I think that really fucking sucks because it leaves us with this unattainable sense of perfection that we have to live up to what the guys on YouTube are doing when that's just not fucking true. It's like same thing with modern metal. It's just so overly edited and sanitized that nobody could actually play that fucking shit. And that's really fucking boring. I think some of the other shows out there might try being a little bit more honest with their playing and show, yes, this isn't easy. This takes work. And yes, you will fuck up an awful lot as you learn this, and that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what part of being human is. And unfortunately, we don't get to see the human parts very much anymore because everything's got to be fucking perfect at all times, and it's fucking ridiculous.
Me, a guitarist of nearly 16 years who is overall pretty confident in my ability. Ha! Stupid Glenn, that exercise looks fucking easy. My fingers. So, you have chosen death? Seriously, it took me fucking 10 minutes to get to the B string without lifting my index pointer finger. Managed to run through the whole thing, descending eventually at less than 2 notes per second, accompanied by some rather interesting facial expressions and groaning noises. Looks like I've found my new time sync. Thanks, Glenn.
So remember, guys, there's absolutely nothing wrong with putting time into practice. Yeah, teaching your fingers to move without lifting really takes some time. And yeah, it's definitely worth putting in some effort on it because it definitely pays off in the long run. All you got to do is sit around, watch some Netflix, and just do the runs over and over and over again. Please watch my video, How I Got Better on Guitar, so you can check that out where I give a full rundown on that exercise because it's made so much massive improvements in my playing. And Adam, good on you for trying it. All you got to do is, just put in months and months and you'll definitely get it.
Why the fuck do all the new metalheads say I need a V30? I could have got Creambacks.
Yeah, because all the metalheads don't have any fucking imagination. That's why. Oh, you gotta get vintage 30. You gotta get a vintage 30. No, there's so many more fucking options out there. Actually, about Creambacks, that's a cool thing. Did you know that the same lady at the Celestian plant has been making the Creambacks for 30 years? It's the same person. She's just got the skills to do it. And, I've got a video where I went to Celestian and I show some of the process, and I had a really cool interview with them, and we talked about speakers and all this kind of stuff. But they showed me the process and I actually shot the Creamback being made. And it's definitely a finesse job. It's definitely not something that you can just pick up and do because, seating the speaker cone and the voice coil and all that definitely takes some skills. So hats off to Celestion for keeping the same person on the job for the last 30 years, because she definitely has the skills to do it. That's for sure. It's going to be a really super exciting episode. Make sure you check that one out. It's going to be coming up in the next few weeks. Still got to edit it at this point, but yeah, it's going to be pretty fucking amazing. When it comes to vintage 30s, yeah, they're cool. In fact, I've got some brand new ones from Celestion, because they said that the new ones sound a lot more like the old ones, because they went to China and really kicked them in the ass when it comes to the manufacturing process there. So that's going to be really fucking cool as well. Make sure you watch for that episode. I can't wait to unbox them, hook them up, and see what they get. Because, yeah, they were pretty adamant that the new ones are pretty fucking amazing. Time will tell though, but don't be afraid to try out some other speakers as well, like the G12Ms and the G12Hs. Turns out that's medium weight magnet and heavyweight magnet, the greenback, and then the H is slightly different. They've got definitely got some different top ends and that kind of thing. There's so many cool options out there, not just from Celestion either. Of course, the Hesu Demons are absolutely incredible and a really awesome alternative to the Vintage 30, as well as the DV77 from Eminence. That's going to be on the show as well, coming up real soon. Make sure you subscribe for all that so you get notified when those videos do come out.
Glenn, I have heard a question about tuning. I've heard people on both sides of this argument about tuning the guitars slightly flat, a few numbers shy of 440, etc., versus tuning them perfectly and the openings while recording. Is this something that you've dealt with any of your projects, and if so, does this apply to bass and guitar equally? Thanks, and I bestow $1,000 upon you.
Well, $1,000 upon you too, Jason Ray. Yes, I use sweetened tunings all the time. Actually, orchestras will do that. Well, they'll tune things slightly sharp and flat so all the different instruments work together better. It's the same thing, especially I notice when like doing drop tuning, like if you're doing an open C tuning or whatnot, I usually find if you tune the bottom string about 12 cents lower, it just makes better chords all the way from, you know, the open strings all the way up to about the 12th fret. You start going past the 12th fret, it's definitely going to sound a little bit wonky, but for the chuggy chords, so to speak, it definitely makes things sound a bit thicker. And yes, you can do the same thing with bass guitar. That's what works for me. It might not work for you quite the best. That really depends on the particular listener, but chances are you're going to like it if you start messing around with the tunings ever so slightly and see what works better. Because just because it works mathematically doesn't mean it's going to work the best on our ears. Then again, I could be completely off my fucking rocker. If I'm wrong, feel free to tell me in the comments below.
Video suggestion: blending different speakers and show how the tone changes and sits in a mix. There are hundreds of comparison shootout videos out there, but very few show how the speakers sound when they're blended together, and I found none that put those blends in a mix. The Vintage 30 is a classic, but the newer ones are spiky. Maybe a blend with greenbacks or creambacks would change that look. How does the Hesu Demon sound with other speakers? I think this might be interesting for those who try to get their own sound and not sound like everyone else.
Actually, that's a great idea, and I've already kind of covered that a little bit, but maybe I should make a video called Speaker Blends, so it's a little easier to find. When I did the new Celestion EVHs, I put them into a rev cabinet and blended them with the new Celestion Hempbacks, and we got something very unique and really amazing sounding as well. You do a little YouTube search for that, you should have no problem finding that. But I'm in complete agreement with you. When we start blending speakers, that's when shit gets really interesting. Instead of the same old, you know, can't think for myself, 57, Vintage 30, it's like, for fuck's sakes, guys, it's been fucking done. Show a little fucking imagination for once in your life. Oh, that might take effort.
I have this and a Katana Mark II. I keep going back to the Catalyst because the Katana's too bassy. I'm not sure if it's the amp or it's the room I'm in, but man, nothing muffled boom with the Katana.
Yeah, I'm going to take a wild guess that it's your room, or maybe you have a bad Katana, because I really like the sound of the Katana, and many people do as well. I think it's a far superior amp to the Catalyst. I think Line 6 kind of came close and fucked it when they started doing the IRs. If they had better IRs on that amp, it'd probably sound a whole lot better. And is that my opinion? Yes. Do I think the Catalyst sucks? Yes. Could they improve it? Sure. Let's wait till see what happens with firmware version 2.0. But if you're having problems with your Katana, yeah, maybe try taking it out of your room and playing it somewhere else and see what you get there. And maybe you can start to figure out what the hell is wrong with the acoustic situation in your room then. Just give that a shot. Might help.
Pathetic insecurities. Wasn't that a lifestyle choice about cars, women, and houses primary, and not about guitars? Anyway, there are some really amazing German guitars and bass. Maybe I should not always buy some import guitars? Who would not want some Duesenberg or Lefay?
Yes, that's from last week's episode about import guitars and other pathetic insecurities, where the guy compared a Honda to a Harley and said, I wouldn't be caught dead on a Honda. And just like, most people are just face palming. It's like, dude, seriously, that's not your biggest concern there, believe me. Anyway, I just went to Guitar Summit in Germany there a couple weeks ago. We were in Mannheim, had a blast there. I'm going to have a video coming up of that really soon. And the great thing was I got to talk to numerous guitar creators, and there's a lot of really amazing stuff there. And none of the big manufacturers were there, like Gibson and Fender weren't there, but there are a lot of small shops, a lot of smaller luthiers making incredible fucking instruments that will definitely rival the best of what Gibson can offer, that's for sure, and do it at reasonable prices as well. And you're going to be seeing a number of those guitars showing up here on the show, because I think the word needs to get out about some of these amazing manufacturers. We checked out something really cool from Hoppus, and I'm expecting something from Rough Guitars in the next couple days as well. Like I said, keep your eyes peeled for that, because I think that's something you guys are really going to want to check out, because I think you can get a far higher quality instrument from maybe some of those smaller German manufacturers than you can from an American assembly line. That's just my opinion, though.
I say anyone can do what they want, but it doesn't mean I would be caught dead on stage with a cheap guitar.
Well, you know what, man? I don't think you should be too worried about what guitar you're on stage with. I mean, like, let's be honest here. Nobody's coming to your gigs.
Man, if that first comment isn't proof that musicians tend to listen with their eyes, I don't know what is. You just don't want to be seen on a Honda. The irony here is being that Harley-Davidson's quality has been declining recently, and they're mostly coasting on boomer brand recognition. Exactly like Gibson. History truly does repeat itself. I long for a world where guitarists can start buying instruments so they can play them, and not so they can look at them for a while and then resell them.
Awesome comment, man. You know what? I agree with you. I don't really have too much to add to that. Well done.
I no longer use my AxeFX for metal after buying this, and it retains punch and clarity as low as you could dream of tuning. I have one guitar in Drop C1, and with the 1111, it's an unstoppable chug beast. I've heard of people still loving it down to an A#0. You cannot lose.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. You can't lose. I got nothing but great things to say about the Auto 1111. If you haven't checked it out already, please do. And if you're wondering what the hell I'm on about, check out my video here where I do the whole rundown and show you guys what it's all about, especially if you're sitting there tired of the, as aforementioned, stale modern metal tones. This is a really serious alternative, and it's definitely worth checking out.